Booty Butt Boy, Vendetta. By Haiku Origami. Streets slicked by rain-held puddles, reflecting the image of a loner traversing a vibrant city. His head-high booty made his way through an alley, looking over his shoulder to see a figure dip into shadows. Turning around to walk backwards, he pulled back the sleeve of his jumpsuit and tapped his wrist piece. Shook by the sound of a cat meowing, he pivoted, aimed at the feline, his red beam swaying. Squinting, he looked left and right and continued down the alley into a courtyard where massive sculptures stood poised. Passing through, hands in his pockets, he whistled a sharp tune. Footsteps plashed, causing Booty to pause. In a mirror embedded in a nearby sculpture, he spotted Kismet sprinting towards him. Unsheathing her cascara, it flashed against delayed motion sensor lights. Shuffling aside, Booty dipped into a portal, leaving Kismet to slash a statue in half. Her eyes flicked to the left to see Booty peek through a second opening. Reacting on instinct, she threw 3 darts. Eyebrows raised, Booty ducked the attack. Lodged in the bricks, the darts hissed, poison eating away at solid matter. The darts fell, clanging against the pavement, and in the time it took for them to settle, Kismet had closed in. "Take it easy, lady," Booty cried, ducking beneath a swooping blade. His jetpack came online, rocketing him into the sky. However, his attacker gave chase. Leaping from wall to wall, she climbed up a fire escape, swinging on railings. Flipping up the ladder, she made her way across the rooftop, where she vaulted off of an iron chimney. Slicing Booty's jetpack, she took him out of the sky. Tumbling across wet asphalt, he grabbed at a satellite dish to keep himself from sliding off the side of the building. Struggling to get to his feet, she kicked him in his gut. Blade swinging at her side, she spit into the wind. "My full fury is upon you now," she muttered, raising her cascara. "Oh, you're for real, for real," Booty coughed, rolling to his feet to avoid piercing. The sword sunk deep into gravel, and in that instant Booty took his chance, booting to shatter the blade completely. Sliding a jambia from its compartment on her shin, she got to cutting up. Nimbly dodging wild swings, Booty was eventually nicked. Blood dripped off his cheek, and within seconds he started to feel dizzy. Below him, a vortex opened, pulling him through. Pulling her mask up, Kismet looked out over the city, revenge clouding her thoughts. Having retreated to his apartment, our hero collapsed in his bed, his heart beating at a slowed rate. "Oh dear," Twin said, assessing Booty's vitals. "No worries, I'll administer the antivenom immediately." 20 minutes later, Booty opened his eyes, his pale skin growing brighter by the second. Rising to his feet, he wiped sweat from his face and looked out his window. His eyes shot all about, making sure he wasn't being stalked. Flipping on his TV, he caught a news segment on a recent jail break involving Idiom. "That's just dandy," he croaked, turning off the tube. "I must advise against any vigilantism for at least 24 hours, Twin said. "You're not yet at 100%. Tell that to Kismet, she'll be coming for me." Twin didn't answer. Instead, beeping sounded. Locks clicked and electricity surged along the gate outside. "That won't stop her. I'll have to confront her head-on my own terms." Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Looking over his shoulder, Booty went to check the peephole. Dragging a chair behind him, he climbed up in it and took a peek. Outside stood 2 suits in glasses. One flipped his badge as the other chewed on a toothpick. Wrist piece to his lips, Booty spoke over an intercom system. "The big butt isn't home right now. Please come back at a more inconvenient time." Jumping off the chair, he readied a black hole disc, about to leave when the agents kicked down his door. "The jig's up, kid," one of them said, stepping forward. "Name's Job, this is Banks, you're coming with us." "Yeah, I don't think so," Booty replied, dropping his disc and leaping in. "Come on, Skip," Banks hollered. "You're too young to be playing with this kind of tech. And you're too old." From the ceiling he fell on them, foot stepping on Job's head. With his hand mushing Banks, he jumped into another portal that spit him out on the sidewalk. The agents followed, walking right into a booby trap. Caught in an intense gravity field, they became stagnant, dropping to their hands and knees. Crouching, Booty patted Banks on his head, laughing when a notification dinged in his HUD. "Presence detected." His eyes shot to the right to see Kismet in his peripheral vision. Standing on a rooftop, her robes flowing in the wind, she held a crossbow. Lowering it, she fired off multiple bolts that Booty narrowly avoided rolling across his lawn. Wrist extended, he shot back, lasers hitting where she leapt from. Front flipping, she slipped through plasma, landed in a crouched position and bounded into a somersault. Standing his ground, the kid spun to evade being kicked in his chest. Dancing around her melee, he pushed off of her, stepping into a portal that led behind her. Wrist piece going off in succession, Kismet jumped out of the way, twisting through twin shots. That was pretty slick, not gonna lie, Booty admitted, lowering his weapon. Look, I'll give you one more chance to scram or I'm taking you down, your choice. You have shamed the Foundation, and for that my vendetta is undying, Kismet responded, silence filling the air. The two stood their ground, eyeing each other deliberately when Kismet finally attacked. Throwing down a smoke pellet, she slipped out of sight. Falling back, Booty knelt beside a parked car. Surveying his surroundings, he heard the flicking of a lighter, then watched as a Molotov flew towards him. Hopping up, he escaped flames spreading across cement, engulfing the vehicle. Lurching into a flying kick, Booty was taken off his feet. Put on his rear, he scuttled in reverse. Her steps slowed. The assassin looked him deep in his eyes. Brandishing a dagger, she removed her mask and licked the blade. Twin, Booty shouted. Beneath him, a portal opened up and dragged him through space. Pursuing him, Kismet plunged in. Transported to the harbor, they stood face to face on a dock. Taking the offense, Booty's jetpack powered up. Shooting forward, he tackled her into a post, then flew off. Circling her, he readied his wrist piece when from her cloak she pulled out a row dart. Slinging it, she grazed Booty's hand. Within a minute, his arm went numb. Landing on a sailboat, he ducked an arrow. Holding his arm, he clenched his teeth, got to his feet and shot back. Kismet ran across the dock. Skidding on the hardwood, she found cover behind a stone bench that took heavy damage. Digging in her satchel, she pulled out another Molotov. It doesn't have to be like this, Booty announced, ceasing fire. In that same breath, she sent the projectile. Fire tagged the boat, catching the sail. Jetting into the sky, an explosion building beneath him, Booty bit his bottom lip. Hovering above the destruction, he eyed Kismet, her crossbow loaded. Bolts whizzing past him, he flew headfirst straight at his assailant. Detaching from his jetpack, he slid between her legs and placed a black hole disc under her feet. When it opened, she was consumed by a swirling black mass. Standing by his lonesome, the young hero huffed, gripped his numb arm and limped off into the sunset.